Okay, so I know this isn't the most usual place to start a rant, but this is often where most of my good thoughts come to me when I'm sitting here on the pooper, which after 2 days of no solid food, there's nothing coming out, so that's all good, but I'm still peeing well. Doesn't matter. I had one of those epiphanies that you sometimes have when you're sitting on the pooper and only able to pee, and the instant you hit record on the phone, pew, gone in an instant. And that's part of the reason why I'm just going to sit here and rant for a little bit longer, because it will come back. It often does. It was obviously, just sitting there completely naked, as you do. I mean, how else would be sitting? If you're on a toilet, you're not going to keep your pants on when you're on the toilet. Well, you might if you're one of those kinky fuckers. It's kind of where this started in the first place, because a friend of mine suggested, because I'm a writer, suggested I could try and publish ebooks and try and monetize on my writing abilities, and I thought that's a great idea. Except that recently I've been reading about these people that write ebooks, and most of them are concentrated on kinky sort of shit, like appealing to people's fetishes. And I thought I could actually do that. I'd actually be pretty good. I reckon I could come up with some really fucked up shit. Should I choose to apply myself down that particular avenue, I reckon I could. Don't get me started. Okay, just get me started. But it's not really my thing, I've sort of looked into a bit of the weird and kinky sort of shit, and I get it. I understand. The weirder it is, the bigger the buzz at the time, when you're in that particular mode where, just looking at normal shit doesn't really do jack shit. I'm not really happy with that term either, but not when I'm sitting on the shitter. I can't do jack. But I'm not going to jack off, don't worry. Like bloody jacking the fucking beanstalk or something. Oh yeah, by the way, I did happen to find this sitting here from last night, so. Warm, flat, homebrewed, off beer is actually how I've come back to my epiphany. Now this I need to take my glasses off for this, because this is where my life turned around. While using the leaf blower just outside that very wall there, one day, just clearing up the place to make it look a bit neater and tidier, I saw the most amazing pair of eyes I've ever seen. Where's the camera? Where am I looking at? Am I looking at you there? Most amazing reptilian eyes. They were black. Like amphibian on a lizard, clinging to the wall as I'm just using the leaf blower, tidying up a bit, blasting away. And this lizard, the way he looked at me, it has changed my life. That's all I can say. I'll just stand up and walk away and say it has transformed the way he looked at me. You know, I'm an animal communicationist, behavioralist, I'm a sympath, I'm a human, and I am who I am. This lizard changed me. I knew he was there for a long time. I'd hear him often, especially in the summertime, which we're coming into now. It's starting to heat up again. Every now and then I'd just hear this weird sort of bark, squelp, that's a good word for it. It's a squelp, it's a strange sound, and not many lizards can make that sound. In fact, they say it's only geckos, and this is a great mystery to me as well, because this lizard, I've photographed him a few times now, but now when I go out, he knows I'm onto him, of course. I reckon he's been around a very long time, and he looked me right in the eyes, and it transformed me. Now when I look at a pair of eyes, I see the true essence, the truth. And I'm totally blown away, in bliss, in love, and in awe of that ability which somehow got into me. I know, it's your natural first instinct is just automatically to say, yeah, you're going to still fucking wanker. Got to feed the dog in a sec, but the neighbours can see me. I'm a bit naked. And I agree. The first thing I would say, egotistical wanker. You know, natural first instinct. But what about if not? What about if actually so? What about? Those eyes. Those eyes. It's like his little tiny sleeping giant. I don't know if ever you've heard some of the more bizarre stories that get around. I once heard the most bizarre one, and so I left the warm area. And this one was, nobody special. None of us are that special, but I think we're actually all pretty fucking special. So let's not go into the specialness of the person, but for no particular reason, these stories rise to human consciousness. And this particular one was, I think it was just a young girl living in a non-specific house, probably a lot like this one, where it had a history, and this one has a history. And she found it had a mongoose. Yeah, I know. A mongoose. And the beautiful part about this, and this isn't something people just make up out of the top of their heads just for the sake of making stuff up. And that's why I love mysterious stories, because I think people generally speak the truth. It was a talking mongoose. It was a very old mongoose, and it had a name. Can't remember its name myself, but I reckon you could probably Google the story and find it. I reckon it would still exist. Of course it would, because how else would I have heard about it? A talking mongoose. And it had a lot of secrets to tell. And that's what I think about this strange gecko I have living in this house, or living right next to the house, in the shed, attached to the house, in this old water tank. This house is over 100 years old. It was moved from up the road a little bit. What do they call that? One of the hills up there anyway. Moved to here. And it's sitting on a very specific location. And the location is obviously why I am here. Because I had to see that lizard. Looks a bit like the eastern water dragon, but when he was spread out with his big feet splayed out, he looked like a frog, and these big, big eyes. It wasn't like a water dragon. He's definitely some type of rare, rare, rare gecko. And my suspicions is he's even older than the house. Yeah, I believe reptiles can live a very long time. I mean, just look at Queen Elizabeth. There was something in that look of his eyes that went, and he looked at me though with a certain kind of anger and determination, because I was blasting him with the air blower. That connection has changed me. Now I am a different person. Now when I look at people, especially pictures of well, women in general, but even men, I can see that element of truth in their eyes. And I am now completely different. I have this element of truth in my eyes that is undeniable. It is undeniable. And of course, sometimes I equate that with some kind of godliness, but that's only because it's within each and every single one of us. God is the spark of life within us all. And when that spark gets lit and lit and lit and lit, and finally it reaches this point, you get a flame. This is the time of humanity's change. And I'm ignoring the politics in America as much as possible, but they've basically thrown us a pair of clowns, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And I'm kind of in favour of the Donald Trump side of things, but I'm against it simply because, great, yes, Hillary Clinton will hang. Her and all her cronies will hang. They will die. Terrible, deserved deaths. And that's a good thing in its own right. But on the flip side of that is Donald Trump. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this is where we have to disempower every one of these government agents who think they have the power to call the shots over our lives. We are the true sovereigns. We have everything within ourselves, within our heads and our hearts to know what is right. We don't need to be told by anyone. And this is the awakening of all humanity that we are coming to. No more politics. No more games. No more bullshit. Just let us live and be free. And strive for the common wealth and abundance of all human beings. You know, we're all in this together. When you're working against us, that's what makes you evil. Evil is EVIL, LIVE, backwards, live backwards. We all just want to live and thrive and strive and be as good as we can for one another. But if you're against that, then you're evil. And I'm sorry, but you got to go. You got to go, or you got to change. Change and be a good. Be good. Good. You know. Just good. Not evil. Abundance. Abundance. There is an abundance of life out there. And you people taking it away from others. Striving for profit. You've got to go. I'm sorry, you've got to go. We can build guillotines if we need to. We shouldn't have to. You should be able to look within your heart and your soul and know that if you are benefiting everyone else, then you are benefiting as well. If you're being a selfish, evil piece of shit, you've got to go. You have to go. If you can spray fiery fucking liquids in people's eyes who are trying to protect the earth, you've got to go. You have to go get some treatment or stop existing. Simple as that. All this from the look of one little reptile who looked at me and told me. With a look. You can see the look. And this look is not going away. I inherited it. I don't think I'm Jesus. But I know I'm a true man. And in this Trueman show, what I say is what goes. I love you, good people. We're going to bring back this world back to how it should be. It is our time. Our time has come to shine, to get rid of those greedy motherfuckers and polluters and people that just want to profit off our very existence.